Okay, so you're at checkout. The thing is 40 bucks, and the screen quietly slides you a better deal. Don't pay 40, pay 10, 4 times, no interest. So you tap it. Of course you do. It's free, right? But here's what actually happened in that half second. You just took out a loan for a thing you're going to have before you've even finished paying for it. And the reason that didn't feel like anything at all? Yeah, that's the whole business model.
So let's just name it.
It doesn't feel like debt. And that's the foundation everything else sits on. And honestly, it's worth sitting with for a sec because the feeling is doing all the work here. Like when you put something on a credit card, somewhere in the back of your skull, a little voice goes, that's borrowed. Tiny flinch. With BNPL, there's no flinch, none. 4 payments, no interest. The word debt never even shows up on the screen, so your brain just kind of files it under purchase instead of loan. But here's the thing it actually is. You owe money for something you have already used. The sweater's in your closet, the order shipped, you ate the meal, and you're still paying. And that's the textbook definition of debt. I mean, borrowing against a thing you've already consumed. The 4 easy payments framing just dresses it up like it's a feature.
And the reason your brain doesn't flinch is chemical, not moral.
The dopamine, the actual hit, that little spark, it peaks at buy, not at delivery. You're not even chasing the thing, you're chasing the anticipation of the thing. And that spike fades in like a couple hours while the charge just sits on your account for 6 weeks. So the want gets satisfied right now, and the cost gets smeared out across a whole month where you've already, stopped caring. And this is mainstream now, by the way, not some fringe thing a few weirdos do. Among Gen Z BNPL users, roughly 66% report running into a problem with it, most often just straight up overspending. That's 2/3 of them. It's debt. It just doesn't sting. Now, here's where it gets a little sinister. And I want to be careful with that word sinister because it's not a conspiracy, it's just incentives. But the reason it doesn't feel like debt is engineered on purpose. Think about everything that's been removed from that checkout. No hard credit pull, no application, no interest rate to stare at, no total even, just a tiny first number, $10 instead of 40. And every single one of those is a place where, back in the day, your rational brain got a half second to go, wait, do I actually want this? And every one of them got sanded right off because less friction means more spending. That's not a side effect of good design. That is the design. It's the literal revenue mechanism. You know how this goes. It's the same trick as one-click checkout, saved cards, autofill. Frictionless for the store, brutal for your savings. A few seconds of friction was the only thing your rational brain ever needed to reconsider, and they took it away and called it convenience. And the cost didn't disappear, by the way. It just got moved, backloaded onto the people who slip. Miss a payment and you're looking at a late fee, somewhere in the $7 to $25 range, and on the longer financing plans, an APR that can climb past 30%. So the free version is free right up until the exact moment your paycheck lands a day late. And then it isn't. And the people who can least afford to slip are the ones paying for the whole frictionless system. The frictionlessness is the product. And here's the part that actually gets people. Because no single plan feels like debt, there's nothing in your head stopping you from running several at the same time, right? One Klarna here, an Afterpay on the shoes, Affirm on the bigger thing you told yourself was an investment. None of them individually trips the alarm, so you stack them, and you're not weird for doing it. Something like 63% of BNPL users have juggled multiple plans at the same time, and among Gen Z, almost 30% have had 3 or more running at once. The point is, the harm was never one plan. The harm is the total you never compute. Because a payment hits every few days, 10 here, 15 there, 20 on Thursday, and it's small enough every single time that you never actually sit down and add it up. It's death by 1,000 tiny auto pays. And it's genuinely easy, like not a worst case, to be carrying $150 a month in splits you completely forgot you owed, and the data backs the chaos up. 56% of Gen Z say they straight up struggle to even track when their installments are due. So this isn't a you problem, it's a designed this way problem. And the missed payment numbers kind of tell on themselves here. The baseline across all users is 43% have missed at least one payment. And for Gen Z specifically, in 2026, it's worse, closer to 57%. Different groups, same direction, both ugly. 5 small payments and 1 total you never saw. And for years, that was almost fine in a grim sort of way, because the invisible debt was invisible everywhere. It didn't show up. It didn't follow you anywhere. Missed a Klarna payment? Annoying, sure, a fee. But it lived in the app and it died in the app. And don't act like you haven't quietly leaned on that. The idea that this stuff doesn't really count because it doesn't go anywhere. In 2026, that's ending, quietly. And unevenly, which is the worst possible way for it to end.
Here's what's real, and I'm going to be precise because most of the internet is getting this wrong. BNPL has started showing up on credit reports. FICO rolled out a new score in late 2025 that can actually fold BNPL activity in. And Affirm started reporting its pay-in-4 activity to the big bureaus, Experian and TransUnion, last year. So on-time payments could start helping your score, and missed ones could start dragging it. And that matters because payment history is the single biggest chunk of your credit score. One slip can knock 50 to 100 points off. But, and this is the part nobody is saying, it is not universal. Klarna and Afterpay have so far declined to send their BNPL data to the bureaus. So the honest version is the door is open, one big player already walked through it, and you have no real way of knowing, plan by plan, which one's watching. The invisible debt just got a credit score. So what do you actually do with that? The test is stupidly simple. It's just brutal to apply. If you can't afford to buy the thing outright today, you can't afford the installments either. The 4 payments don't make you richer. They don't change the price. They just delay the pain and spread it across a future version of you who's already forgotten why. And that's the whole exit. And if you want to actually see how deep you're in right now, not vibes, the real number, that's about a 30-second job. We've built a tool for exactly this inside Avalanche. Money Habits. It's called the BNPL Tracker. You drop in every plan you've got running across all your apps, and it counts them and totals what you actually still owe. It surfaces the one number the splits were specifically designed to hide from you. A few minutes, no bank connection needed. Links in the description. Because the whole trick was that it never felt like debt. That was the point. The split, the no interest, the little $10 number instead of the big $40 one, all of it built so you'd never feel the weight of it. The people who come out of this fine, they aren't the ones with more willpower. They're just the ones who made it feel like debt again before the bill did.